Functions as a service and serverless computing are an emerging area of interest and functionality. Apache OpenWhisk is an open-source project to provide an open platform for implementing a distributed event-based programming service. In this module, you will learn about the key attributes and some use cases for serverless computing. We will go over architectural concepts of OpenWhisk, and you'll get to see how to use the OpenWhisk CLI. Functions as a service, also known as serverless computing, refers to a model where the existence of servers is hidden from developers. There still are servers in the cloud behind serverless computing. It's just that the framework for these environments makes them effectively invisible. This allows a developer to focus on application logic that runs, instead of all the underlying stack and infrastructure in a typical server or container implementation. Functions as a service are available in several frameworks, including AWS Lambda, Google Cloud Functions, and OpenWhisk, which is an open source project available as a service on IBM Bluemix. Event-driven compute services run in response to events, auto-scale for you, and only charge you when they run. This lowers the total cost of maintaining your apps and enables you to build more logic faster. Not every scenario lends itself to a wholly event-driven style, but there are many categories of solutions that align well with the function as a service approach. For example, triggering an action when there's a change to a database, like adding a new document. Or for an Internet of Things solution that responds to input from a sensor, or only responds for a particular range of sensor values. Chatbot applications are a very good match for event-driven actions to gather information as part of the dialogue, or to take actions. Event-driven style can also apply to execution of tasks at particular times or on a specific timetable. And the inherently scalable, multi-processing nature of functions as a service can work for some types of mobile backend services. From these scenarios, it's easy to see where event-driven services can fit into architectures of web applications as a component that provides updates to data used in the application, or to perform periodic tasks related to the application, or to perform additional input or interactions for the application. OpenWhisk has 4 key components. Triggers, which are a class of events that are emitted by event sources. Actions, which encapsulate the actual code to be executed. Actions support multiple language bindings, including Python, Java, Node.js, Swift, and arbitrary binary programs encapsulated in Docker containers. Rules provide an association between a trigger and an action. Packages describe external services in a uniform manner to allow integration with the environment. Packages allow actions to invoke and interact with Bluemix services for messaging, data, cognitive, and other third-party services. Here are some basics about the OpenWhisk, or WSK, CLI. The OpenWhisk CLI command can be used to configure the serverless environment and also test out invocations of actions. Initial configuration for WSK requires providing the API endpoint and the authorization key for the Bluemix account. The authorization key sets the namespace execution context, including Bluemix organization and space for accessing services. The WSK action command is used to define actions or to perform test invocations of a defined action. The WSK trigger command is used to create and fire triggers. Firing a trigger can include parameters that are passed to any action associated to the trigger by a rule. The WSK rule command is used to manage rules that associate triggers to actions. The WSK package commands allow for a developer to list packages that are in the namespace, as well as provide a summary of the entities, for example, example actions and feeds for triggers for a package. The WSK package bind command allows a developer to provide default parameter values for use by actions within a package. In addition to using a WSK CLI, OpenWhisk on IBM Bluemix includes a dashboard where you can develop actions, test them out, and also set up triggers and rules to invoke them. This concludes the video presentation, but we encourage you to use Bluemix to experiment more to learn serverless computing.